November predictions. We will take a look at what's in store for you throughout the month of November, as well as some lessons that you can learn from the month of October. So let's begin by first setting an intention for the reading while you have the opportunity to meditate on the cards. Welcome. Crafting the sacred space. I'm connecting into my sacred self and the wisdom of my sacred self through all existing lifetimes, both the past, the present and the future coming together in this now moment. Connecting into my spirit guides, my ancestors, my beloved dead, as well as my own subconscious terrain. Connecting deeper into the essence of Ma Kali, my dark beloved mother, asking her for assistance in protecting and guarding this space and my vessel, as well as to act as a messenger between the spirit guides, the beloved dead, and the ancestors of this community. Activating and enhancing my psychic abilities and my mediumship abilities in order to give accurate readings to this community. I set the intention that I give clarity, wisdom, and truth through these messages, and that I channel these messages in a clear, concise, loving, and impactful way, and in the true mark of the manifestor energy type, in order to initiate the consciousness of this community. I pray that these messages are for the highest good of all beings and Earth in its entirety. Let it be so. Thank you. Let's begin the readings. Message number 1. In today's reading, we will be asking 4 questions, which are: what can you learn from the month of October? Because I think it's really important to reflect. Then we will ask for a theme for November. What are the growth opportunities for November? And we will finish this reading off with a random message from Spirit for them to come through in an organic way. So let's see. I'm tuning into which deck to use. So what can you learn from the month of October? I think it's really, really important to pause, to reflect on where you have been before you hurry on to the next thing. And I think that we will get some insight into where we're heading as well by looking at what we can learn from the past. What can this group of people learn from the month of October? So this is an active thing. This is not a passive thing, meaning that this is something that you will need to think about and ponder about for a bit. So for that we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse and the 5 of Wands. Oh yeah, we had the 6 of Wands at the bottom as well. What's the theme for November for this group of people? Four of Scepters. And what are the growth opportunities for November? Prince of Scepters. Wands are certainly dominating your spread. 3 out of 4 cards are wands, and we have also a wand card at the bottom of the Waite-Smith deck. And then for a random message from Spirit. This feels to me at a first glance as a theme of learning to go your own way, to walk your own path, and being quite independent in that. Random message from Spirit, we have Witch. Okay, so what can you learn from October? This is about protecting your peace. I do receive a message here that you have been given numerous times throughout the month of October to revisit your boundaries, your self-love. In a way where your energy or your time or both could have been compromised due to circumstances or people around you. So there have been lessons in that to come back home to yourself and to protect that peace, to give yourself what you need to preserve your center, coming back to center, to yourself. So this is something that you can reflect on, and what really did transpire and happen throughout the month of October. How can you access that lesson through what you experienced? Are there new sort of rules for yourself that you need to set up? Have you learned to say no more? How can you access this lesson? Because it's there. So the theme for November is Four of Scepters. You are moving deeper into sacred practice. And I'm intentionally not using the word spiritual practice, but sacred practice. And by that I mean coming back to a practice that feels sacred to you and perhaps has a spiritual tone, a spiritual meaning, a spiritual essence, but it's the sacredness that is important here. The honoring of self and your body. Treating yourself, your body, your life as a ritual, as a temple to come back to and to honor and to worship at your altar each and every day, however that looks like. And as an example, I'm being given taking baths regularly. So that can be an act of sacredness to you. And perhaps you have some herbs, some salt. But it's the experience that invokes a sense of sacredness. And these are sort of experienced in your alone time. So this is how this connects to the lessons from October, because you are learning how to carve out sacred, private, scheduled time for yourself that is quality time, sacred time, where you're not distracting yourself with fast food content, let's say. So that is the theme. That is what you're being called to move into. Now, for the growth opportunities for November, we have the Prince of Scepters. And I'm being asked to take a look at the bottom of the deck where we have the world. This is very karmic. And also an invitation into a path of the feminine, which is perhaps less structured, less planned, more moments of not knowing, more moments in the void space and feeling comfortable there, or starting to feel comfortable there. Exploring that as an exquisite space of opportunity. So it is moving into that. That's really where this focus of carving out sacred time is intended to lead you towards. There's something very important with the serpent and with the raven or crow here and the puma. So animals can be of importance as you move throughout this month, and perhaps they come through as messengers in various ways. I'm sitting a bit here with the Prince of Scepters. The opportunity for growth this month with the Prince of Scepters is about how you move in the world, through life, with how much intention, with how much devotion to the path that feels true to you, to your body, I'm feeling like there's something more here. Can I access this? It's to be discovered. But essentially, you have the opportunity to discover another way of moving through life that is more irregular, perhaps more moving through the unknown, but it is also deeply fulfilling and deeply you will feel deeply passionate about moving through life in this way. Is there any way that you can say this in more clear words? So there will be growth opportunities in relationships, especially for you throughout this month. And how you share yourself, your essence, how you show up, how you express, and how true is that to you? How you show up, how you express yourself, how true is that to your essence? And you're really being given the opportunity to dig deeper into the flavors of you that is still inside here, that wants to be expressed more. And it is more feminine. It is more trusting in the dark, essentially. So now we are finishing this reading off with a random message from your guides, and we have the witch, of course. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are walking a path of the witch or thinking about it, feeling into it. And if it's not a witch, it is definitely some sort of path that entails connection to nature or connection to a certain spiritual craft of some sort. It's an alternative path, and it begins here at the cusp of the witch's new year, of the end of October and the beginning of November. And that is all that I have for you here today. What an exciting month. Thank you so much for connecting in, and I do hope to see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye. Message number 2. In today's reading, we will take a look at what you can learn from the month of October, the previous month of October, what the theme is for the month of November for you, what are the growth opportunities for November, and we will finish this reading off with a random message from your spirit guides for them to come through organically for you. And I do feel that we will begin with a message from Kali, actually, from the Kali Oracle Pocket Edition. Because I feel like you need something a little bit extra. Durga Kalika. So I will read that one later. So what can this group of people learn from the month of October? And this is active learning, which means I'm not just giving it to you, but this is an invitation to reflect on how this applies to your life and what you can take with you as wisdom from these messages and what you have experienced. It is also a way for you to see the presence of spirit in your life, in a way. If you know, you know. So for that you had the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, with the Nine of Cups in reverse. What's the theme for November for this group of people? It feels like you might be coming from group 1 as well. And there could also be a connection to group number 4, I'm feeling. Theme for November. And what are the growth opportunities for November? So the theme for November, we have the Ten of Knives, quite an intense card. And growth opportunities, we have the Lord of Grails. At the bottom, the Ace of Scepters. All elements are represented here. So this month also has a sort of sub-theme of coming into balance. Oh, there was a card missing here. I will tuck that in. So a random message, that was the Durga Kalika. Okay, now I get it. So what can you learn from October? We had the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. Ace of Swords, sorry. But that could be something as well. You could be coming into more energy. But the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, it's like you are starting to figure out what it really takes to go after your dreams, to go after what it is that you want to build for yourself long term, the things that you want to have longevity in your life. And these can be quite lofty goals as well, but they are within reach. These are not the reach for the stars goals. These are more reach for the tree branches goals that you have, that are more close to you. And you're starting to sort of realize what's necessary. You have this insight. And the learning moment has a lot to do with the consciousness that you were in beforehand. What does that say to you? Because there's something here about this insight or sort of revelation being quite sudden with the Ace of Swords. And so think about that for a while, what that means. Why you weren't in this mental space before, because there's a reason for that. And if you can figure that out, if you can sit with that, reflect on that, there are things to learn from those revelations that you can have with that. So what is the theme for November? We have the Ten of Knives. Something is clearly not working anymore. It has reached its final destination, its dead end. And it's something that you're supposed to finish off and walk away from. I do receive a job situation or a family situation or a romantic situation. And there could be something else that I'm not quite accessing. So think about what that means for you. But I feel like this is something that has been prolonged for too long, which is quite common when we are dealing with the 10 of Knives. But what you have been in has caused you some suffering, so there is relief coming from that. So I just want to clarify this 10 of Swords for you. 10 of Knives. We have the 10 of Grails. This, whatever it is that is ending, that is coming to a conclusion, to an end, is something that has been standing in the way of your true fulfillment, which could have something to do with this dream and vision of yours. So, with this being the theme, why they are highlighting this, I think we'll get some more information when taking a look at the next question or the message, the random message here. So, what are the growth opportunities for November? We have the Lord of Grails. It is your capacity to transform. It's your capacity to hold space for yourself through this process of change, of death, of rebirth, of grief from what has been, being able to fully let it go and honor yourself in the process, and also being accountable. In relationships, what do I really mean about that? It's about being honest with what is going on with you. And not trying to hide, not trying to lie, but being honest and real about your emotions and what you're moving through and what you are processing and experiencing. And taking full accountability for that. Letting people know that you're taking care of yourself at the best of your ability, and perhaps you need some extra space for that. Perhaps you need support for that. And perhaps you need support for this new beginning that is about to transpire for you. But it's about taking full responsibility here in this situation. This is something that you can learn and grow from during this month. Being truthful, being honest, asking for space when you need it, and asking for support when you need it. So, the random message that we received from Kali, Durga Kalika, I will read this message for you. In unusually challenging situations, the ways we have supported ourselves during more ordinary times are insufficient. We need to be open to divine inspiration, protection, and proceeding in new ways. Here is a portent of unexpected success. Even if everything appears to be going against you, the tide shall turn through divine grace. So throughout this month, do not expect things to go perhaps as smoothly as you plan them to. Perhaps you have a structure, perhaps you have a plan. Be gentle with yourself here as things start to unfold, unravel, and rebuild. Again, I'm feeling sort of at the end of the month. But take space out, carve time out. Say no to things. Say yes to help. Because what you're moving through this month, you will perhaps need more or other things that you are usually needing and supporting yourself with at other times. Essentially, you might need some extra support from yourself, from your environment, and some compassion and understanding from people around you as well. And that requires you being truthful. Truthful. Is there anything else? They want to highlight the Ace of Scepters at the bottom of this deck. You are coming into a new creation period. You just have to sort of move through this phase of endings and unravelings, and you will be just fine, because you have the capacity for holding the space for yourself and your loved ones during this time. You have the capacity for that. That is why this card is showing up. So I just wanted to end with that for you. And that is all for this message today. I thank you so very much for connecting in. I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye. Message number 3. In today's reading, we will take a look at what you can learn from the month of October. The theme for November for you. What are the growth opportunities for November? And we will finish this reading off with a random message from Spirit for them to be able to come through a bit organically. So, what can you learn from the month of October? And this is active participation in your learning. So what will be required of you is to sit with this information and reflect by yourself. So you will not be given a straightforward answer served on a plate. This will require for you to do some reflection, which I feel is very, very important, to pause and to reflect. But you will be given a sort of starting off point here. And if this does not resonate for you, perhaps there is another message for you today. So you received the Four of Cups in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. What's the theme for this group for the month of November? What's the theme? Lord of Scepter. And the growth opportunities, we have the Ace of Grails. At the bottom we have Five of Skulls. All elements represented for you here as well, just as in the previous reading of message number 2. So, for a random message from Spirit, we have Solitude and Lovaria. So I'm going to start to interpret these messages. So the lesson that you can learn from October with the Four of Cups in reverse and the Lovers in reverse has something to do with the Chariot in reverse here. Feel as if things not going as you expected, not going your way. And there's something here about what you are learning from that experience. And it feels like there's something here about learning how to not settle for anything less than what it is that you truly want and desire. So there are some things here to think about around that. And perhaps these events that didn't turn out as expected, you can think about if that was in your heart's desire or not. And there's really a need to ruminate a bit on what's really in your heart. And Spirit has been trying to show you through sort of perhaps cancelled plans or cut off pathways to connect back in here. So ponder a bit around that. So the theme of November, we had the Lord of Scepters. So this is about coming back into authority. So this, whatever has been transpiring previously throughout the month of October, this was not supposed to thwart your will or weaken your will, but to redirect your will into a more aligned pathway or mission or whatever you would like to call it. So the theme here for this month of November is to really come into that, being the king of your own domain and using your willpower in the right areas, in the correct pathways, and finding those. And remember, we have the Lord here. This is not the page. This is not a knight. This is not a queen. This is the Lord of Scepters. So this is about you are entering a time of mastery. So I feel like there are just some small tweaks and adjustments needed here to hone in on using your willpower in a really authentic way. You're not a novice, but some extra adjustments are needed. So that's the theme for this month, to really calibrate that for yourself. So the opportunities for growth for November, we had the Ace of Grace. It's to look within. It's as easy, as simple as that. Perhaps not easy. There could be a reason to why you are not entirely accessing that. So there's a requirement to look within. And what does that really look like? It could look like journeying in meditation, asking questions out loud, journaling, just sitting with uncomfortable emotions whenever they show up, sitting with them and see what they are stirring up from within your being. And this is where you find your innermost desire. It is through connecting with yourself, with your being, with your soul, with your heart. And that might mean painful emotions showing up as well. But ultimately, it's getting to know yourself better. So that is the opportunity for growth for you. Connecting with your heart in a very deep and profound way. And remember, we are in Scorpio season. So it is a delicious month for that. So a random message. Yeah. We had Solitude and Lovaria. Alone but not lonely. Let love grow. And I'm also taking a look at the bottom of the Tarot of Vampires, which shows the Five of Skulls, which says to me that there is a slight disconnect from your inner realm and your outer expression. Perhaps only slightly, but you're being called into mastery here. Remember that. So solitude will be your best friend throughout this month, but not in a way where you are completely isolating yourself, because I feel that there is a call to meet with people as well to a certain degree, because in those moments you will gain more sort of material to work with in your alone time. That will probably perhaps make sense as time goes by, as you get into this. And Lovaria, let love grow. This is about accepting yourself fully. Full acceptance of self, full acceptance of your expression, of who you are, what you want to do, who you want to be, who you want to become, what you feel passionate about. And so there is some sort of resistance to some aspect inside that is longing for full expression. So that is what you are moving through this month of November. And I'm really, really rooting for you, because I can feel you deepening and mastering, expressing the truth of yourself. That's really exciting. Thank you all so very much for connecting into this message. I do hope to see you in the next video as well. Take care, everyone. Bye. Message number 4. In today's reading, we will take a look at what you can learn from the month of October, the theme for November for you, the growth opportunities for November for you. And we will finish this reading off with a random message from your spirit guide for them to come through in an organic way. So for you, we are pulling a card from the Kali Oracle, which we also did in group number 2. So perhaps you connected to group number 2 as well. Kaladara. We will continue to pull out the other cards to give me a sort of overview of what this is about. So what can you learn from the month in October? And I want to preface this with saying that this is active learning that is required of you. This requires reflection, contemplation, perhaps meditation on your part. The answer will not be served to you straight away, but you will get a clue as to where to dig. because I feel that reflection is such a crucial part of growing and gaining wisdom. In my eyes, wisdom is really learning from experiences. And you learn through reflecting on them. The Empress in reverse and the Nine of Cups in reverse. At the bottom, we have the Fool. You are on a cusp of something, most definitely. And perhaps you are feeling that you are on the cusp of something. Perhaps you were even unknowing of this yourself. So what's the theme for November for this group of people? What's the theme for November for this group of people? And the growth opportunities. We'll take 2 there. So the theme for November, we have the Lord of Scepters, just as the previous group number 3. And the growth opportunities, we have the 7 of Grails and 8 of Scepters. At the bottom, we have the Moon. The Moon, the Fool, and Kaladara. That is really saying something. So what can you learn from the month of October? This feels a bit similar as group 3 in a way, so it makes sense that the Lord of Scepters showed up for you as well. It feels as if you had perhaps certain plans or creative ideas, or just feeling like you wanted to move into a creative cycle, but the energy hasn't showed up for that. That's what it feels to me. The energy hasn't showed up for that. The energy perhaps faded or waned, or other things came in the way, so you were being thwarted, and it's difficult to pick up the thread again. So this might revolve around a creative endeavor, or work or business, something. But it's something that you do for satisfaction and pleasure, and perhaps that is work. What's with the 9 of Cups in reverse? I need to sit with that for a moment. It feels almost like what you were about to start or were thinking about, it was too sort of premature or something. The idea wasn't mature enough, or it needed more time, or it's not it feels like you're supposed to almost completely discard that idea. because the full fruition of that wouldn't give the sort of fruit of satisfaction and happiness that you were looking for with the Nine of Cups in reverse. There's something here, it's quite elusive. Perhaps I'm just getting tired. I don't know. But it's almost like the rug being ripped beneath you, underneath you. Because I really do feel like there is no... You completely lost track here. Especially with connecting with the moon. Like going completely blank on this. Because there is a shift that needs to happen before you can partake in any new sort of creative cycle or spiral here with the Fool. There is a different way to go about this that is not your usual style. So this needs a bit time to brew. Like there is need for some different way of thinking or approaching this, or something, a new idea altogether, and not recycling old ideas, if that is applicable for some of you. So for the theme of November, so that is what you will need to sit with, why this isn't right, and the new way forward for you. That's what you can learn from, because you're growing out of this way of creating. And what does that mean? What does that look like, doing something new to you, to grow, to evolve? Not to stay stagnant and stuck in your own ways. What does that look like to you? What does it look like to get a bit uncomfortable for you? There's some real gems in that, if you can sit with that. So the theme for November for you, we had the Lord of Scepters, and I feel like this goes together with the growth opportunities for November, where we have the Seven of Grails and the Eight of Scepters. This shows a sort of progression, even though they are from different suits. It's still a 7 and an 8. So it's a sort of progression where you are taking a leap. It's not a slow moving progress. You're essentially just leaping into something new, something evolved. And the theme is to take charge of your own evolution, of your own creative evolution and expression. Because I feel very strongly that this is something that you're creating or crafting, perhaps even for others to take part of. Or perhaps it's just you doing some sort of creative expression, perhaps through painting, and you're being asked to explore different mediums or different styles of art. That is just an example. But this is taking charge of your creative evolution. And realizing that you haven't reached the cap of this yet. So don't stop here. Don't stop here. Explore more. Learn more. Grow more. Be more. God, I just felt how obnoxious I sounded. I'm sorry. And it is challenging because he is jumping over thorns, but see how easily he's jumping over them. It's something that could be perceived as very challenging at the first look of it. But you are well equipped to move through this, to do these to implement these changes. You are very well equipped to do whatever it takes to move into this new territory, this unknown territory. 7 of Graves and the 8 of Scepters. There's something about moving past. Let's see, I need to connect in here for a moment. There's something here about moving past through some illusions that you perhaps have had for quite some time, and this could be thoughts and beliefs about your work, where you are disentangling yourself from these old beliefs and stories. And it really feels like the theme of it is breaking out of your current comfort zone. Because it can grow a bit stifling, and we are not always noticing it until we feel a bit stuck, right? And the moon is saying that it is time to move into uncharted territory. How terrifying and uncomfortable it may seem. There's something more here with the 8 of Scepters. When you have moved past this, there is really no stopping you, because I do feel that you will be gaining momentum when you are moving over this this block or this threshold of leaping into the unknown, of doing something new that is unfamiliar to you. So there's more to come here. And this is just a start. This is just the beginning. And as a random message from your spirit guides, we had Kala Dara. When hope is lost and a way forward cannot be sensed, Kali's love will find a way. If the path does not yet exist, then it shall be created. If you cannot see or feel how you can move from where you are to where you want to be, Kali's wisdom and grace will manifest at the perfect time to provide what is needed. So if you feel stuck, if you feel that there is no, excuse me, if you feel that there is no pull forward in any sort of direction, you need to carve out more space in your daily life to just be more and be still, and it will unfold organically when you have given it sufficient time to do so. And that is all. Message number 4. I thank you so very much for connecting in. I do hope that it gave you much, and I do hope that you come back to the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.